When there's no more room in hell, the dead will walk here.
I heard.
To answer Greg's question, when Gino Crognali primarily put my makeup on the prosthetic devices and took it off, told me, and actually Greg, first time he showed me the head on the computer and told me, you can't hide behind this makeup. Anything you feel inside, the audience is going to see. So when I first had it applied and saw what it looked like, the script got me initially because at that time, I was going through a little something. And I used to always hate it. I used to get beat up as a kid, believe it or not. I used to get chased in New York and places like that until I finally said, this is not going to work anymore. So I always thought about people who were messed with, who were beat up, who were shot, who was killed. I took it really way, like mass genocide. That's how I viewed it. First when I looked at my face in the mirror and saw the decay, there was this heart-wrenching like moan that came out of my soul. So when there was no work sometimes, I would just look in the mirror. And there was a map on my face. All that work was a map. And that map really, for me, played a video of atrocities around the world. So that's how I looked at that. And in fact, there were moments when I had to stop my work. In fact, I used to hate it because we finished at, 4, 5, 6 o'clock in the morning. And I couldn't stop my work sometimes. And I would just, now I needed a hug. You know what I mean?
I had to hug him.
You had to hug him, But the makeup was so awesome because you looked, and right away your work started. You just looked in the mirror and your work started. So thank you, Greg. Man, you did a great job, brother. Appreciate that.
Kyra, Sharon, they got a microphone down there. Kyra, on the other hand, played a zombie at, what was it, 9? 9.
And what does it say about me that I was scary looking and had almost no makeup? Just a few dark circles around my eyes, and that was it. I think it was.
The one other thing that a lot of people don't realize is that George never gives zombies specific direction as to how to walk. When we were on Day of the Dead, I remember, and Land of the Dead, and these guys have the greatest zombie walks ever, as we were talking about before they came in. But George said to me one day, he said, listen, go deal with the extras, but don't tell them how to walk, because I was directing second unit on Land of the Dead. And I said, well, why not? He said, because if you have a group of 50 people, and you demonstrate a zombie walk for 50 people, and you start rolling the camera, all 50 people will walk exactly the same way. So you have to just let them go. And the reason why everybody on the stage is so memorable is because they brought something to their character. When Sharon is the nurse and you see her head bobbing side to side and the stiff arms and they're going up the escalator. It's like those are like classic, iconic zombie images. They basically defined how zombies walk and look. So I'm going to throw the mic over to them.
Anyhow, that escalator scene, George says, I want you to be a zombie on the escalator. I said, well, what do you want me to do, George? How do you want me to do? He says, just be a zombie on the escalator. That was his direction. So I figured, well, a zombie doesn't know what he's doing anyhow, so pretend like you don't know what the hell you're doing. So I just bounced around, and all of a sudden it was over. And I was up over the top, and George says, great. And a lot of people don't know, but George shot that. He shot that with a camera, Steadicam light. And it wasn't the regular camera they were using all the time. My wife, Sharon, a lot of people don't know that's my wife. She was a zombie during the movie. She started off being a zombie. No. No, I'm kidding. No, what I really wanted to say is she was going to college. She was going to college at the same time. So we would shoot from 9 till 7 in the morning. Then she'd run home, take a shower, go to college all day, and then come back and be a zombie at night. So by the end of the zombie, believe me, at the end of the movie, she was a walking zombie.
And when you see my eyes, whenever I was doing my zombie thing, I would roll my eyes up into my head. I don't know how I did that, but whenever George would say cut, try to get your eyes back down into focus, man. That's hard. That really is. But George, you know, whenever you would do it, he would say cut, and then he'd just go like this. Oh man, he'd laugh and he'd just walk away and shake his head. So you figure, okay, well I guess he likes it. Is that all right, George? He says, yeah, just keep doing it the way you're doing it. That's great. But like they said before, you know, when you are in these outfits and you do become a zombie, you do feel like a zombie would feel, I guess. And it is like a strange feeling. So, therefore, I never will go into a hospital again playing the nurse zombie.
Everybody has to walk out of here as a zombie.
Yeah, that would be great.
Any questions?
Remember this, you have to be the same zombie all the way through the film. You can't change your walk, you have to do the same zombie, you have to do the same face. And for continuity, you have to be the same one all the way through the film, so you have to remember what you're doing. You don't just do it.
Well, I remember when I had to limp a little bit, and my dad actually directed me in my scenes, and I said, well, how do you want me to walk? And he said, I don't know, limp a little bit. And I said, but I was bitten on the arm, why am I limping? Well, my dad was Harry Cooper in the movie, Carl Hartman.
A good guy, good guy.
Any questions? Yeah, actually, okay, originally, you know, as everybody here knows, in the first Night of the Living Dead, it wasn't zombie, it was ghouls, you know, flesh eaters,
Those things.
When exactly did the term zombie start being used? I mean, when should y'all first start hearing zombie? Well, didn't George talk about it with Peter?
Yeah.
You or something?
Right.
Yeah.
During the production, we referred to them as those things, the monsters, the ghouls. Zombie was picked up as momentum for Night of the Living Dead started to pick up an interest in publicity. It was a combination of things. George first made mention of it, and then the media people picked it up, and I think that's where zombie came.
You know that after Night of the Living Dead had been released.
That's correct.
You know, what's interesting is I have, there was some guys doing a documentary on George several years ago, and they had borrowed his original shooting script from Dawn of the Dead, his original script with all the handwritten notes. And the guy said, you see George more than I do, can we give him back his script? So last week in Los Angeles, I said, George, I have your original Dawn of the Dead script with all your notes. He went, you keep it. I'm like literally going, I'm holding the Holy Grail. It's a phone book of horror right there. But what's interesting is that word is only used once in Dawn of the Dead, and it's a line at the end of the film where Peter says there's going to be a million or 1,000 of those zombies in here. It's the only time they use the word zombie. And on the back page of the script is George's handwritten notes. Well, that line of dialogue which says, there's going to be 1,000 of those things, there's going to be 1,000 of those creatures, and he scratches it up, and handwrites zombie. So like he made a conscious decision in the screenplay because he had been talking about that word for such a long time period, that now he was introducing the word into his own sort of, into his own lineage.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That really comes down to
The first time I ever heard it used in terms of, the Dead movie was I was sitting on my porch. I was 11 years old, and it was just after Night of the Living Dead had come out, and there was this boy, a couple years older than me, in my neighborhood, and he walked by and he went, zombie, zombie.
So you ate it.
I was like, oh, smack him. I wanted to crawl into a hole and die.
Well, think about it as a media thing. If you say zombie, that's a nice catchy phrase. But if you say flesh-eating ghouls, it's not so much better and snappier.
Well, they call it zombie. Dawn of the Dead's called zombie in Europe. That's the name.
Yeah, they're dead. They're all messed up.